It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Jane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Owyhee Federal Credit Union, and Edward Jones Financial. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. From the KCCR studios in Pierre, KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
And a good evening as we welcome you inside the KCCR studios here on this Wednesday evening. John Winkler here with you as we will talk plenty of football here in Coach's Corner tonight, as we'll talk with the head coach of the Pierre Governors and Steve Steele, head coach of the Sotheby's Chargers, Tom Moore, head coach of the Stanley County Buffaloes and Max Foth, and head coach of the Jones County Coyotes and Tyler Buxell. We'll also talk with TJ Dragonset, the head coach of the Stanley County volleyball team, as we will work our way around talking to a lot of the volleyball teams from around the area as well. We start our program off with the Coach Steve Steele. That'll be coming up next. You're listening to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
People helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Steve Steele here of the Pierre Governors, as we'll talk about the matchup coming up here in just a little bit and last week and everything else, but we're a little bit closer to your doomsday prediction from last Wednesday when you talked about Tom Brady coming back and going to the Super Bowl. If there was a team after week one, if there was going to be a team after week one, it was already going to be kind of scary. But now it's the New York Jets, who have a good defense, have pretty much everything lined up. Now, I know we're 2 days after removed, so they're already talking about Zach Wilson being that quarterback. But I'm a little nervous that doomsday is, the doomsday knob has kind of turned a little bit closer to midnight.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things are going for this prediction, because also, they technically can't trade their first-round pick, because their conditional pick with Rodgers changes to a first-round pick if he played X amount of games, 70% of the games, which he won't, but because that's, legally written, they can't get rid of their first-round pick. So, which makes the trading part more complicated. So, how much easier is it then? Hey, Tom, you want to come back?
Do you think the Jets do it, though?
Not yet, and I don't think Tom Brady does it yet. I think they ride Wilson until they realize that he's not the answer. And then, because again, their defense, here's the thing. Really, Rodgers didn't really play that game.
Yeah, 4 snaps.
And they still won against a very good opponent. So I think it's one of those things where I think they feel comfortable being able to ride out Zach Wilson, because, again, the whole point of Rodgers was him coming to help him be ready, so they can win now with Rodgers, but then also hopefully Wilson's better when he does leave. It's they still can kind of let him get better, hopefully win enough games to be in the picture, and then bring in the guy to bring it home.
So then what's the record that the Jets start to, I wouldn't say maybe freak out, but also just say, okay, we need to do something. If we're going to go win, is it a bad record? Is it a okay record? Is it a good record and Wilson hasn't played well? Because if you're going to make this doomsday thing happen, I want you to be very, very specific on it.
I think you got to look at the trade deadline, and what's their record going into the trade deadline. I think if they're 500 or below, that would probably be the time to watch. Where if they're 500 and above, I think they ride it out. Because I also think Tom Brady he's not going to want to come play the full season. I think that the lesser amount of games that you're asking him to come in and play, the better the odds that this actually would happen. I mean, they talked to him about, hey, what if he's just a playoff guy like Gronk did a couple times where he came back, the week 13, 14 to get a couple garbage games in, and then, hey, let's go run the playoffs out. Something similar to that. You never know where, if they got a good record, they got 10 out of the first, if they go 10-5, bring him in and let him get his feet under him again for the last couple games and then go. I think that would, again, even as a coach, that's, if you know that Zach Wilson's not winning you a Super Bowl, why not? Why not at least try?
That's Steve Steele here of the Peer Governors, and we're going to talk every probably Wednesday about the saga. Until it either ends or we get to a point, the season ends or it actually happens. We'll probably touch on this subject every Wednesday here on Coach's Corner because we'll see how good Coach Steele is of predicting doomsday.
If it was Brock Purdy that went down, it would be midnight.
It would be midnight.
Because that would be the team that he wants to go to too. Still have an incredible defense. It would be midnight if that happened.
So you don't think Sam Darnold would be they would say, nah, forget Sam Darnold, we're going to go for Tom Brady?
I think Sam Darnold would keep his role as the backup quarterback.
So, all right, well, and Max Foth, I'll mention something to him about that too, because I'm sure he'll probably we'll see how he responds to that too, because he thinks the 49ers and Jags are going to be in the Super Bowl. And so that maybe, the 49ers haven't had good luck with quarterbacks not being injured.
Yeah, 3 of them at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Coach Steele here joining us, Coach's Corner, here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. It's a big matchup this Friday against Yankton, and we start talking about the Jets, but in all reality, this is going to be a fun matchup. Pierre and Yankton's always fun. It's a tough place to play. If there's ever a place where you're feeling like maybe you're playing from behind to begin the game, it's probably going down to Yankton because it's hard to win down in Yankton. How much fun is it to be a coach down there and to be on the other side and to hear that crowd either be quiet when you're winning or just be loud and have to try and silence them?
Yeah, it's a hostile environment, and those are memorable places, and they're a lot of fun. Obviously it's a lot more fun when you win and they're quiet, but at the same point in time, that's what sports and competition's about, is being in those environments and two teams that are really good, just duking it out and seeing who can come out on top, and hopefully if it's close at the end, they're going to get that extra boost of energy from their crowd, and if it's not at the end, they're going to get the energy sucking out of them from the crowd being quiet. So it's just one of those things that it's always fun to go and play in any of these environments, but in South Dakota high school football, coming from Pierre, Yankton's one of them.
What have you seen from Yankton? 3 games in, at this point, you've seen a lot of what they have done differently, maybe in 3 different games, maybe what they've done similarly. What have you seen from them? Yeah,
they still go to their high-powered offense. They're still no huddle, tempo, trying to go fast and get a lot of plays off. They'll still throw the ball more than most of the teams that we play. And I think they've got really good skill players, things that we seem to say year over year against them. And, they're going to be a tough go on that side of the ball. And on defense, they play that complementary style where, they're kind of okay giving up yards. They just want to eventually bend but not break or find a way to force you into one bad decision that ends a drive.
And again, we'll talk a lot about it in the pregame show on Friday as well, but those defensive backs, safeties, they've got to be really chomping the bit after last week in a more run-style team to now being a more pass-style team that they're probably chomping the bit to be out there.
Yeah, they're ready to go. They're really excited for this challenge, and just for playing a team that one's going to throw it a lot, two is going to play fast, and three has a high-powered offense. I think that's one of the special qualities of our defense as a whole this year is they want to play the best teams. They want that challenge, and they want to overcome that challenge. So, that's very exciting to hear as a coach that your team's looking forward to these moments and isn't nervous or timid. They're just excited for it.
I'm sure I guess the defense probably was a little bit more hungry this week because they didn't get the donuts, one to begin with on Monday, but trying to get those donuts again. So, pun intended, they're probably a little bit more hungry coming into this week.
Yeah, and they want to go out, they want to perform well, and they want to help us win, and they take a lot of pride in the fact that they were upset they didn't get the shutout last week, and they want to try and get another one, and whether or not that's this week or next week or down the road, they're expecting that level of perfection every week.
Offensively, on drive-wise, you can't get better. 9 for 9 last week. But as we talked to all the kids, we talked to you after the game as well, that the satisfaction is, we got the win. We played well. We still got to get better. What offensively needs to be better this week against the Yankton Bucks?
Yeah, I thought that, we kind of slipped off blocks a little early. I don't know that we finished them in the box as much as we'd liked. I think that was a strength against Brookings, that we really did finish the blocks well. So our angles from the line and the tight ends need to be a little bit better this week. But I think other than that, the effort was still there. And I think that our receivers did a great job blocking downfield, and our backs and everyone that had the ball in their hands did a great job running after the catch, earning extra yards, and fighting through contact.
Again, talking with Coach Steve Steele here of the Pierre Governors on Coach's Corner, and they take on Yankton. We'll have coverage starting at 6:30 with kickoff at 7 o'clock on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. Going into this matchup, how key is a good start for the Governors to, you keep the streak alive of all the consecutive scoring drives, but how important is a good start for Pierre?
Yeah, it's just anytime you're in these road games, in these crazy environments, it's important to get a good start just to keep the crowd under control a little bit and keep the other sideline from really exploding with that energy boost. So, if we can kind of try and numb that energy right away, that'll help us in the long run of the game.
And then, final question here is biggest reason for the Governors to pick up a win on Friday?
Yeah, I think defensively it's going to be finding ways to get off the field quick. A few quick stops or turnovers can really do a lot of damage to a tempo team like that. And especially with the two-way guys that they have, it could do some wonders there. And then offensively, just being flexible and understanding when to push and go for the big play and, when to give our defense a break and keep their offense off the field.
Your fantasy team 1-0, or did they lose?
Both my fantasy teams won last week. Thanks to Stephon Diggs for having a great game. I had Christian McCaffrey in one league that really helped out. And it's just been it was a crazy week. I felt like there was a lot of not high scores.
There wasn't a whole lot of scoring in fantasy over this first week, but kind of how it is in week one. Week two, start to see teams and guys really start to take off. But overall, I appreciate the time, as always. Good talking to you every Wednesday, and we'll talk to you in the pregame show on Friday, and then we'll talk to you next Wednesday in Coach's Corner.
Sounds good. Thanks, John.
That is head coach Steve Steele of the Pierre Governors. We'll return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
This fall, take some time to think about your future. While the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill, it's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the costs throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Tom Moore of the Soybees Chargers, who are taking on the Cologne Cowboys this weekend, back at home and back under the lights. Finally, a Friday night game for the Soybees Chargers, who have spent the last 2 Fridays playing in the middle of the afternoon. And that's going to be my first question for you here, Coach. How nice is it that the fact that you're playing on a Friday night again instead of having to play in the middle of the heat of a Friday afternoon?
Well, it's just kind of nice to get back under the lights and when it's cooling down in the evening time, and that's high school football, playing under the lights. That's kind of the fun of it. After the last 2 weeks weren't too bad, but it's more fun for everybody, for the community, and for the kids, and for everybody else. So we're excited.
Did you, well, granted, I guess there wasn't much of a routine, too, because you ended up having homecoming week last week. That kind of throws you out of routine. So you probably didn't truly get used to playing on a Friday afternoon and having and not that it would change a whole lot, but overall, you probably didn't get in too much of a routine of playing Friday afternoon.
No, not too bad. Just the big thing to me, the difference of the heat, that time of the day. And with homecoming last week, it was as different, as crazy as it could have been, but our kids came out and played hard, so I was happy with their effort.
Well, let's go back to last Friday here, Faulkton area. The big thing, too, is you're down a couple starters, 3 starters from that game on Friday against Faulkton area. Can you provide an injury update on those 3 guys and if they're going to be available, or at least try and give it a go on this Friday?
Well, hopefully we get at least 1 back, possibly 2 back. I know 1 goes back to the doctor today to kind of get his update on things. So hopefully get a couple back, and we need to continue to stay healthy, try to get healthy for the remainder of the season. So do what we can. So hopefully we get 1 for sure, and if not, maybe all 3 of them. We'll see. I guess by Wednesday morning, I think, as we find out.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, being down 3 starters, 9B football, well, 3 starters is a third of the team out there right away. And against the Faulkton area, not that you want to ever be without your starters, but against Faulkton area, that's going to be one of the worst teams to be without your starters. So overall, how did you feel like the guys that stepped into those roles, playing against a very good team, one of the best teams in the state, how did you like their performance on Friday?
They came out and played hard. With Falcon, they got a lot of athletes at the moment, and they can kind of spread you out a little bit. For what we had, I thought we battled pretty good. We just got to take care of a lot of little things that we're getting better at as the year's gone on. So it's kind of overall effort with it.
Cologne is coming up here on Friday. They won their first game against Burke. They're now 1-2. What do you see from that win? Obviously, breaking down all 3 games, what have you seen on film? But what did you specifically see in that win that they were getting better at or able to do to get that victory?
The big thing, I know their last game against Burke, they created a lot of turnovers. I think they had 4 or 5 turnovers, and they scored off a couple of them. They just create some challenges with some of the things that they're able to do. They got a heck of a running quarterback. He runs and throws, but he was a sophomore last year. We played against him, and he was pretty decent. So he's much improved even through as the year's gone on. They got some nice players. They're going to be very similar to us. So it'll be a match where it should be hopefully pretty even, and whoever makes the least mistakes and the least turnovers should come out on top.
Again, talking with Coach Tom Moore here of the Soybees Chargers. They take on Cologne on Friday. D.T. Meyer will have the call in Oneida. 7 o'clock kickoff Friday night, and he'll have it on Country 95.3, PureCountry.com, and on YouTube at Country 95.3 Sports. We're at the halfway point here of the season with the fact that you guys are at 1-3 right now, but played your 4 games. You've got 4 more games to go. A bye week in there as well coming up in you have this game, next game, and then you have the bye week after that. So through the halfway points, kind of maybe not necessarily grade your team, but what have you liked about what the Chargers have done? What needs to improve in the last 4 games to put you in the best spot going into the playoffs?
The last we started trying to be kind of 50 run, 50 pass kind of a deal. In the first 2 games, we didn't throw the ball extremely well. In the last 2 games, we've thrown a little bit better. Hopefully that helps our running game, and hopefully gets Barber rolling a little bit better in the backfield. But West has done a nice job the last 2 games against a pretty good team last week, and Falcon had 150 or 160, I think, passing. So that's kind of we need that stuff to happen, to make our offense get rolling. Defense, that's where we kind of really saw the shortage of starters last week. So hopefully we get a little bit stronger there. Tackling's gotten a little bit better, but we just got to continually get better in a handful of spots right there. But the good thing is, exciting thing is, there's fixable things that we can do. So we're going to keep at it and keep working on the Chargers.
We'll talk as we get into your bye week, because we're going to talk every Wednesday here on Coach's Corner. But the one thing is that you'll have 6 games done, and then you got your bye week and 2 games remaining after that. Is it good? As of right now, is it nice to have the fact that you're playing your 5th game in 5 weeks and not having that bye week too early, or is it something that just obviously you're going to take it when you get it, but is it nice to take that towards the end of the season when you can?
Yeah, it's usually better, the later, middle, or somewhere in there. Last week would have been a good time with all our injuries and stuff, but, that never seems to work out that way. But, yeah, usually if I got a bye week, usually about the 5th or 6th week is usually a good time to have it. That way you can kind of regroup a little bit, get everything straightened out, get those little bumps and bruises healed up, and then get ready to roll into playoffs.
Well, and when you look at your schedule, too, it's been a challenging schedule. Stanley County, who is at 3-0, started the season with them. Potter County, who's 2-2, been up and down in their 4 games. Faulkton at 4-0, so a combined record of 9-2. It's against the teams that you've lost, and then you got the 62 points in that Sunshine Bible Academy victory. When you look at the rest of the season, it doesn't, Colombe at 1-2, but it doesn't get much easier than that. Obviously, you're going to take it one game at a time, but boy, this Charger schedule, as we figured at the beginning of the season, it was going to be a tough schedule anyway, but it's really taking shape that this is one of the tough schedules, one of the toughest schedules in 9B.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, we take it week for week, take it for opponent to opponent. With how 9-man rolls. If I lose 1 or 2 kids at a certain time, then games, that the teams kind of change. But yeah, our schedule in whole was tough, and our last half is as tough as you want. But if you're going to make any run into November, end of October, November, you got to play these tough games, and hopefully that week playing some of the tougher games that we've had up to this point, hopefully that helps us in some of these games that are coming up that show that we can play with some of these guys at times. So that's the nice thing of a tough schedule. But sometimes with a young team, it's just hard to have that trust and try to learn how to win.
And especially, at the end of that season, too, with all those records, any wins that the Chargers pick up, and all those wins that the Chargers can pick up, that standings, you jump up those standings a lot here. Talk with Tom Moore here of the Solebu's Chargers as they will play Colombe on Friday. Coverage will be at kickoff at 7 o'clock. Country 95.3, PureCountry.com, YouTube at Country 95.3 Sports. DT Meyer will have the call for you in Oneida. But, Coach, before I let you go here to wrap things up, what's going to be the biggest reason here for the Chargers to pick up a win on Friday against the Colombe Cowboys?
Big thing is defense. Try to eliminate. They scored 50-some points against a good team last week. So try to eliminate some of their big plays with some of the athletes that they have, and we just do a better job tackling it and being in the right positions to make plays. We're getting better at being in the right spots. Now he's got to finish off and make the plays. So, defensively, if we have a chance to win, we got to play. We got to play hard and physical right there to give ourselves a shot.
Well, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time as always. Good talking to you. Good luck on Friday, and we'll talk to you next week here on Coach's Corner.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
That is Tom Moore, the head coach of the Solebu's Chargers. Again, they play Friday nights against the Colombe, and DT will have the call on Country 95.3 and on YouTube at Country 95.3 Sports with kickoff at 7 o'clock. We'll return with more Coach's Corner after this here on it.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
Let me talk to you.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Max Foth of the Stanley County Buffaloes as they are returning after their bye week, 3-0 to start the season, take on Bonham this after a Friday afternoon in a 3 o'clock kickoff from Ole Williamson Field. And Coach, coming off that bye week now, getting ready to go back into playing some football again. How good was the rest of that bye week? I know we talked a little bit, obviously, because of my mistake. We didn't hear it on the air last Wednesday, but how nice was the bye week to rest up, but also to get prepared for the stretch around the season?
Yeah, for sure. It came at a great time for us. You know, it helped us get some back from the injury. It helped heal any bumps and bruises we had in those first 3 games, and really helped us reset and get dialed in for the second half of the halfway point in the second half of our season to come here. And it was great because it timed out well with our young guys. You know, they went and competed in their first JV Jamboree on Saturday this past week. So we got to have them have a little extra practice time and get ready for their competition as well. So it came at a great time for us, got some guys healthy, and got our JV guys ready to go play some football. And now we're back and looking forward to Bonham on Friday.
So let's talk about this matchup on Friday. The Cavaliers are 0-3 right now. They lost to Viborg early, and you look at their schedule, and every week they've scored a few more points, but they've given up a few more points. It was 18-6 in the first game, 28-14 the second game, 34-21 in the third game. When you watch film on them, what's kind of stood out to you? Why their offense has been able to score a touchdown extra per game, but maybe some of the holes in the defense that you guys want to exploit going into this game?
Yeah, the biggest thing is Bonham's had a tremendous schedule to start the year. You know, they've played 3 good football teams, and they've been in every game. You know, they're definitely a very talented team, even though their record doesn't show that. You know, for instance, last week against Viborg early, they were down 6 and driving with the ball and under a few minutes to go in the game, and their quarterback makes a throw on 4th down and a pick 6 going the other way. So that score looks a little bit different than how the game kind of ended up for them. They were going in with a chance to win, and then a pick 6, and they end up losing by 12 or 14 or whatever it was. So, you know, we know they're a talented team. We know they've got a great coaching staff. You know, Coach Pudwell's been there forever, and I mean forever. I'm pretty sure he might have more head coaching experience than I have life experience at this point. So, you know, they're going to come ready to play, and they're going to study us and know what we like to do, and I expect it to be a good game on Friday night, or Friday afternoon, I should say.
And let's talk about now being Friday afternoon. Obviously, you played against Bonham last year in a Friday afternoon game, so you're not unfamiliar. This team is not unfamiliar with playing a Friday afternoon game, but being at home and being at 3 o'clock, I mean, what changes a little bit? Because guys got to get moving a little bit quicker. There's no bus to get on to travel. How do what's different about it other than, you know, obviously the big difference is 4 hours earlier than a normal kickoff, but what's going to be an adjustment for these guys to make sure they're mentally and physically ready to go for the game on Friday afternoon?
For sure. Yeah, the biggest thing is we always talk about routine. You want to stay in that routine, and you want to keep everything as normal as you can. And with us being a 4-day school week, you know, we don't on Friday. We do have some in-service going on. So we're really positive on the fact that we just got to, keep your same routine, go to bed at the same time at night, wake up, get some breakfast, move around. We don't want guys to sleep in too long, and all of a sudden we're sleeping through that first quarter of the game action. So the biggest thing is whatever routine you have as a player, keep that routine going, and we'll do the same as the coaching staff. And then obviously it's a little bit easier now that it's, knock on wood, it's cooled down a little bit here in September, and hopefully that doesn't play too big of a factor in it and playing right in the middle of the afternoon there. But, we originally did this a few years ago with going to Bonhomme when they were dealing with an official shortage. So they wanted some teams to move some games and play in the afternoon so the same crew could ref at, in the afternoon and then ref a different game at night. So, and it also helps with their bus ride. Obviously we took that bus ride 2 years in a row. So, we know it's a haul, and this will get the game over a little bit quicker and then get them back at a decent time at night instead of, as late as it can be on a Friday night type of deal.
You mentioned just a little bit ago, you don't want your team to be sleepwalking through that first part of the game. Is it almost, if you're going to have a Friday afternoon game, if you can pick and choose where that Friday afternoon game is it almost better to come off the bye because guys are going to be chomping at the bit a little bit more than, each week just because you had that time, especially at 3-0 too, that it might be a perfect scenario to play in a Friday afternoon coming off of a bye because guys probably aren't going to be sleepwalking because they are going to be ready to roll?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you combine that with, the excitement in our school, the excitement our team has, and then getting guys back off of injury. It's super important. It's been a lot of fun, and those guys are going to be ready to play. And I expect our whole team, led by our captains, to be really excited to get out there and go play again. When you're in a groove, you kind of don't really want that bye week. Now, it came at a nice time that, we were able to get some guys healthy. But, we want to strike while irons hot, so to speak, and be able to keep playing. And we're excited for Friday night, that's for sure.
So you mentioned two guys coming off of injuries. Colton Brady, one of those guys that's coming off that injury, and is he going to be suiting and ready to go?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he got medically cleared to start practice last week and got cleared for all activities. And, we kind of eased him into it since it was our bye week and really, let him run around with his helmet a little bit. And then towards the end of the week of the bye week, we threw the shoulder pads on and let him get some hits in and let him get the feeling. And he feels great and, run hard. And he's as excited as anybody. And all his coaches are too. He started the year off terrific for us. And we had a lot of guys step up and make big plays while he was gone. But, football is going to be easier for us with him on the field. And that was clearly shown in that first quarter of that Sully Buttes game to start the season.
And, obviously you don't want to reinvent the wheel, especially at Game 4 of the season. But with all the guys that stepped up, you scored 78 points with his injury, and guys you win 38-30, win 40-0, and now adding him back to the mix. Obviously, he is a tremendous add to give, but there's a lot of guys that stepped up in that spot too. So how do you manage him to come back in? Maybe ease him in. You mentioned ease him in back into practice and have the bye week that helps kind of get him back into game shape right away. But how do you change a little bit up on game plan and scheming because of the extra guys that have picked up the I wouldn't say slack, but just picked up where Brady was injured, and how do you make sure that Brady is he's your workhorse still?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think some of the hardest teams that we've played against in the past are teams that do a good job of spreading the football around and on this team, it's a good problem to have. We have a lot of mouths to feed as far as getting touches and catches and runs and those type of things. But when you have the type of athletes that we're lucky enough to coach and, when you have the Barrett Schweitzers, we got to make sure Barrett gets the ball plenty. We want to make sure Paxton Beal out on the perimeter gets Brendan Bothwell is the fastest kid on our team. We want to make sure he sees the football. And then, here's our back. And one thing we haven't shown a ton of is we haven't run the quarterback yet, and we definitely know Brock is capable of not only throwing for big games, but also running for big ones as well. So, it's a good problem to have anytime you have this many weapons as we do, and we just got to do a good job as a coaching staff of making sure that we're using everybody and everybody's getting a touch here and there. And our team, that's been so nice is our guys are so excited and winning football games. And, I haven't heard one word about, I need to get more catches or I need to run the ball more. Everybody's just been so team and goal-oriented, just go and try to win these games that, I feel like the coaches are thinking about it more than the players are. So I think the players are doing a terrific job with that, and couldn't be happier to get everybody healthy at the right time, and hopefully, knock on wood, that stays that way for the rest of the year.
And, of course, it's always fun to see something like that, see selfless teammates and really, really good teammates. And it's even better on top of it when you see those selfless teammates and you add on a couple W's with it, too.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I think that's a big thing is, winning games kind of makes everybody, no matter what happened during that Friday night, no matter what we have to fix or, who got the ball when and where, we won the game. And I think our team does a nice job of, they've been through it. They've been through the 3-6 season last year of, we kind of got thumped a few games out there. We were competitive in some, but, we only won 3. I think it's been so nice for our guys to really stick with it and keep battling and finding ways to win and win it in different ways. We ourselves kind of a shootout at the beginning of the season with Sully Buttes in that first quarter, and then we really grinded that one out, having a great opponent in DeSmit and finding a way to kind of raise some eyebrows and keep those guys at home. And then, we put it together a complete game against Dupree. So we've definitely been playing better and better each time out. And I'll start with that. We're excited to go see, just how well we can play on Friday afternoon.
Again, talking with Coach Max Foth here, the Stanley County Buffaloes. They take on Bonham at home, 3 o'clock kickoff from Ole Williamson Field this Friday afternoon. And, Coach, before we wrap things up, biggest reason, the top reason why the Stanley County Buffaloes will get a win here on Friday and move to 4-0.
Yeah, the biggest thing is I think our guys got to play smart football as far as we got to take care of it. Bonham is, they're going to be hungry for that first win. They're going to be excited. They're going to come in here, looking to pull out all the stops, whether it's trick plays or whatever they need to do to try to get this win. And I think if we're sound defensively, we're always lined up in the right spot. That's going to lead to some success on the defensive end. And then offensively, we just got to keep doing what we've been doing. We've kind of stayed the course, and, we haven't scored every time we've touched it. Stuffed and stopped here a few times by a few different teams, but we just got to stay the course and keep doing what we do, and hopefully that should lead to some more success on Friday afternoon.
Coach, hey, I appreciate the time. It's always good talking to you, and I'll make sure that we don't lose this interview before now and when this airs on Coach's Corner. I appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday. Looking forward to talking to you next week.
That sounds good, John. And because this didn't get broadcast last week, I have to tell you it's going to be Niners-Jags in the Super Bowl, and it's going to be the Niners over the Jaguars. I just want everybody to know my Super Bowl pick before, obviously both teams won over the weekend. But before we get any further down the road, I just had to – I know you knew, but now everybody knows it's Niners-Jags in the Super Bowl.
That's right. People would think that we'd be in cahoots or that you're paying me off saying, yeah, he had it right away. We make sure that we get all out in the open that, yeah, you did say it last week and you're sticking to it this week. Niners-Jags, and the Niners picked up the Super Bowl win. Max Foth said it here second. First was last week, now second here. The second time here on Coach Corner. But, Coach, hey, appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday.
You bet. Thanks, John.
That is head coach Max Foth. The Stanley County Buffaloes will return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at
Why am I so sore? There are everyday moments.
Hey, hold the ladder! Hold the ladder!
Yeah, that hurt. And there are epic moments.
Slide! College! Class of 1995!
When a moment creates a health need, visit the experts at Avera Orthopedics. We're moving health forward so you can tell the story. Learn more at avera.org/orthopedics.
It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pier Area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at KCCRradio.com. Joining me is Coach Buxell here of the Jones County Coyotes, who will be taking on the Timberlake Panthers coming up on Friday, as they will be hosting the Timberlake Panthers. Jones County right now at 1-3. And Coach, let's jump into it here. Glad to have you on the show. 1-3 so far. Obviously the Phillip game last week, but overall through the first 4 games, halfway point of the season, what have you liked about this Jones County squad?
Well, you know, we've had a pretty difficult schedule so far. Yeah, we're 1-3, but our 3 losses, those opponents are have a record of 10-1 this year. So, you know, we've played some extremely tough competition. You know, Timberlake's looking like it's a game that we should be able to compete with. They have a lot of kids on the roster, you know, compared to what we have. But you know, we're excited and ready to have a home game again.
And that's one of the points too. Is you mentioned it right? Took one of my questions away. 10-1, your opponent's records that have beaten you, and then you look at the last half of the season right now. Timberlake at 2-2. Everybody else is winless on the last half of the season. It is really a telltale of 2 different types of this season, where you're facing some of the best teams in the state and teams that are very beatable opponents at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's what I was telling the guys yesterday. Is from this point, after getting rid of Phillip, there our season gets easier, and we've had a very difficult stretch to our season, and we're excited to see how the second half of the season goes for us.
And the one thing too for Jones County is your guys' numbers are not very big for this year. So everybody that is on this roster has got a big role, whether it be in the starting role or there's not a lot of guys that are going to be coming off the bench and coming off the sideline because there's just not that many numbers. So everybody's got that role, and one play away is very much a thing for Jones County. But what do you like about even though you got the small numbers that the guys are willing to compete? And it's tough to deal with those small numbers. But how do you like those guys competing even with the numbers?
Well, yeah, we've got great kids competing. Last Friday we had a very unfortunate event, and we lost our starting quarterback, and he was our leading tackler too, due to a broken arm in that game against Phillip. So, I mean, he was our leader. It's going to be mighty tough to replace him, but the guys it happened to the third play of the game there over in Phillip, and kind of took the breath out of us right away. I was proud the way the guys rallied around everybody. And just kind of, we went out and competed after that. And, I think the shock of that happening right away in that game really deflated us. Everybody's had a little chance to process it for a little while now. And, we're going to be ready to roll this Friday.
So then for you, the coaching staff too, how do you handle that? What's kind of been the next guy to fill that spot, and how do you, whether it be somebody from the starting offense that moves that spot, how do you rotate guys around or fill that the gap of the quarterback, but also then the defensive side as well?
Yeah, it'd be Caden's younger brother, Briar. He's a sophomore. He's kind of been. He's seen a few snaps throughout the year, just kind of on some different formations and stuff. So he's familiar with the quarterback position, and I got a lot of confidence in Briar. He can make some good throws. He can make some good reads, and as soon as he starts getting a little confidence in himself, he's going to be a heck of a quarterback for us. And it's going to be fun watching him grow this year.
Well, and obviously the siblings of Caden Kinsley and then Briar Kinsley, the be able to have the younger brother. I'm sure he's had a tough go, always dealing with an older brother. Probably didn't get it taken easy on him growing up. So the mental toughness for Briar Kinsley is probably already there to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be good. It'll be good that he's got Caden to go home every night and ask him questions. And I told Caden, that it was a fortunate event and not fair and everything, but he's still the leader of our football team. And it'll be good having him and Briar in the same household, going over plays and everything that we need. Get Briar to know.
Again, talking with Coach Buxel of the Jones County Coyotes. They take on the Timberlake Panthers at home coming up here on Friday night. Let's talk a little bit about Timberlake. They're 2-2. They picked up a big win over Lemon McIntosh, 32-6. They lost. They beat Newell 52-0, but they lost to Harriet Selby-Area 24-13. Dupree 26-6, which was this last Friday. What have you seen, or Saturday? What have you seen from them on film coming up to watch this team? What have you seen from them that want to exploit early on in the game?
Well, we want to try to take advantage of our ends, and we have some size. I think they have a lot of kids, and they got a few older kids that are pretty talented too and stuff. We gotta work to our advantage, especially now being even a little shorthanded as we're going to be going forward, to where we got a couple ends that are 6'5" and 6'4". We just got to get Briar a little bit of time back there to get open, and them guys are good blockers too, where we can start getting some corners on some guys. We got some mighty fast tailbacks in the backfield that if we can block long enough to set something up for them, we can get down the field and go score. I felt like we're a team that, from playing a few of these games that we have, we're one play away from a touchdown about anywhere on the field. We just got some big play guys that if we can make a drive, sustain all the way down the field, that's great. But there's been times that we've kind of been a big play, take it all the way to the house type of team. And if we can kind of find a balance between the two of them, we can have a pretty successful second half to our season.
And you mentioned one play away from always scoring. You're not too many wins away from even hosting a playoff game in 9B. I know that you still got 4 games left to go, and halfway point, you're not too concerned about the playoffs right now. But sitting in 11th place at 1-3, it shows how tough a competition you had. We've already talked about that, but how close you are to being, you're 1.6 points or 1.1 points away, C point wise, of being able to jump into the number 8 spot. So this is, for Jones County, a 1-3 start is just A-okay right now, because 4 wins in a row and 4 beatable opponents, and all of a sudden Jones County is sitting at 5-3, and you guys are jumping up into hosting a playoff game, and this is in a not too bad of a spot to be at right now.
Absolutely, and that's been the goal from day one when I first took this job. As I told the guys, I want to be hosting a playoff game. I mean, that's goal number one. That's priority number one, is we're going to try to host a playoff game. And yeah, to be 1-3, it's a little tough having to go through a couple of them losses, especially last week, like we did, 53-0. But at the same time, it's positive that our goals are all still right in front of us yet. And it's up to us right now if we can rally together again here and go have ourselves a successful season.
Again, talking with Coach Buxel of the Jones County Coyotes. And, Coach, before I wrap things up, I'd like to ask this every coach I talk to. What's going to be the biggest reason here for the Jones County Coyotes to get a win over Timberlake on Friday?
Well, we got to show up on both sides of the ball. Our defense can be there 5 out of 6 plays, but that one play, if we let something go for 20, 30 yards, well, it really ruins our momentum and it ruins everything. If we got a couple kids that step up for us and kind of fill in a couple empty spots, we got a really good shot against Timberlake this Friday. it'll be fun. I'm excited for the game.
Again, that's going to be at Jones County. It is going to be a kickoff at 7 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Mountain Time in Murdo for the Jones County Coyotes taking on the Timberlake Panthers. Hey, Coach, I appreciate the time. As fun talking to you here. We'll talk to you again as the season continues along, and good luck on Friday, and looking to see what this Jones County Coyotes team can do in the second half of the football season.
Yes, thanks, John. Appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. We will return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at KCCR.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach TJ Dragosin of the Stanley County Lady Buffs as they are getting set for the Big Dakota Conference Tournament, but come in at 6-3 on the season after getting second place in the Mobridge Pollock Tournament this past Saturday. So, Coach, let's talk about your team a little bit here. We got a chance to talk a little bit before the season, but haven't really had a chance since the season got underway. 9 games in at 6-3. What's been one of the best things that you've seen out of this Stanley County volleyball team so far?
I think that they are figuring out how to connect with each other. They've been working super well together and figuring out the team chemistry. So I think all around, I think the team chemistry is really clicking, and they're figuring out how to get some routes going to get some wins.
Well, and you look at your schedule so far, and there's been it's up and down record-wise of your opponents, but you've played some really good teams, got some really good wins in there. And obviously the Mobridge Pollock, that 9-0 record coming up short in the championship of that Mobridge Pollock tournament. But it's got to feel good too, especially because you play a couple triangulars, that tournament with 3 matches in that same day. Because the girls are at that point in that day are playing a lot of volleyball and are playing some high-quality volleyball.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen some really good teams, and it's really fun to meet some good teams in our region, especially to see where we're standing and what we need to work on so we can prepare for regions times and big tournaments like the Big Dakota we got this weekend.
Yeah, and you haven't played at all this week, getting ready for the Big Dakota Conference Tournament. Obviously, you'll play a lot of games, not just a few, but a lot of games this weekend,
yep.
and then play this Thursday at Potter County, this next Thursday at Potter County. But having this full week off, how is it do you like the week, Monday through Friday being off, or is it kind of we wanted to keep playing because we're playing so well?
Right. I don't know. It's kind of been back and forth. We have had a lot of practices, which means we get to, work on a lot of skills. But it would be nice, I think, to have one game in there just to kind of, get the game feeling. But we've been just working super hard, just all around, serve, receive, defense, offense. So skill-wise, we've just been working super hard with staying active and really perfecting those skills. The girls probably would want to have a game in there so they don't have to condition as much, but it's good for them to have kind of a week break to get ready for the big tournament.
Well, and also going back to last Saturday in Mobridge, Pollock, that was the first time you guys had traveled so far this season. How'd you like that they played in a different gym other than Parkview?
I think they did really well, actually. It's always hard to get used to a new court and not on your own playing ground, but they did execute really well, and we did come out second, so I was really impressed with. They woke up and they're ready to play.
Again, talking here with Coach Dragosin of the Stanley County Volleyball team, 6-3 so far on the year. They get the Big Dakota Conference Tournament coming up on Saturday, but you're back at home again for that Big Dakota Conference Tournament. What do you expect kind of going in? Because there's a lot of really good teams. It's always a fun conference tournament to have. What do you expect going into this year's tournament?
Yeah, so right now we're ranked third for the tournament. So above us is Mobridge and Miller. So as long as we can get into that championship bracket, I think that we will have some really good games with Mobridge again and see what Miller has to bring. So our goal is to get into the championship bracket and then compete with the teams in the championship bracket there.
Are you opening up with Cheyenne Butte in that first match of the weekend?
No, I'm not sure why that's posted online with Cheyenne Butte, but we'll have Winter and Todd County, I believe. So we'll start with those two, and then if we beat both, then we go into the championship round.
Perfect. So, and a couple, obviously, you weren't going to have just one or two matches. You get a chance to have 3 to 4 matches overall, which is, especially at this point of the year and going into, a big stretch of a lot of regular season games and weekday games. It's going to be nice to get to rack up a lot of matches, whether it be wins and losses. Obviously, to be wins, but it's got to be nice to have all those matches racked up right there.
Yes, for sure. It's nice to get a lot of playing time all in at once. So it's probably good we have a week break just to save all of our energy for game time this weekend. But it is really fun to have like triangulars and things like that where you get 2 games kind of back to back and in one day, so you can just keep playing and keep that momentum going on triangulars and tournaments like that.
So I don't want to jump ahead because you're not looking at next week's opponents or the next couple of weeks, but you're on the road quite a bit. How tough is that stretch going to be? Have you looked at that at least to the point of how are you going to manage that stretch coming up?
Yeah, I think there's like 5 games that are all away. So it'll be an adjustment with having all home openers. But I think we'll be okay. I think once we kind of get in the groove of traveling again, I think as long as they play their game, they'll be able to execute really well.
Again, talking with Coach Dragosin here of the Stanley County Volleyball team. They'll be hosting the Big Dakota Conference Tournament. That'll be coming up on Saturday over at the Parkview Auditorium. It's always fun. It's not just a Big Dakota Conference they're not naming it just for the heck of it. It's a big conference tournament for the Stanley County Buffaloes. Before we wrap things up here, going into this weekend, what's one of the big things that you want to see from your team? Whether obviously winning the championship would be great, but when you get through this, what do you like to see from your team?
Tournament-wise, I'd like to see them in the championship bracket and then try and get some wins out of that bracket because the teams are in our region, so it'll be nice to compete with the teams in our region a little bit. Otherwise, team-wise, I think that our main goal is to just keep working on running routes on offense and just figuring out how to place the ball and get kills off of the ball we get set up. So I'm thinking probably just offense and running some different routes against different teams and trying to get some more kills probably.
And again, the Big Dakota Conference coming up. Is it a 10 a.m. start over in Stanley County?
Yep.
So 10 a.m. starts all the action over at Parkview Auditorium. It's going to be a great day, great atmosphere for the Big Dakota Conference Tournament. Coach, I appreciate the time. First one of Coach's Corner. We'll have you on a couple more times, but not so bad, right? It wasn't too bad for you.
Not too bad at all. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach, I appreciate you coming on and talking on the show here this evening, and enjoy here the rest of the next couple of days off, and we'll good luck on Saturday with the Big Dakota Conference Tournament, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
That is head coach TJ Dragosin of the Stanley County Buffaloes. We'll return to wrap up Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
People helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back here in the KCCR studios to wrap up Coach's Corner for another Wednesday, we want to thank our head coaches talking with us today in Steve Steele of Pierre, Max Foth of Stanley County, Tom Moore of Sully Buttes, Tyler Buxell of Jones County, and TJ Dragoset of Stanley County. We'll have more Coach's Corner next week starting at 5:30 right here on KCCR. Don't forget, we've got professional football, NFL tomorrow at 6:30 with coverage. High school football at 6:30 on Friday here on KCCR. Volleyball at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And, of course, a triple header of the NFL again on Sunday. It's all right here on KCCR, along with some college football as well coming up on Saturday. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, right here on KCCR at 5:30. Have a good rest of your evening. You've been listening to Coach's Corner here on KCCR.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Owyhee Federal Credit Union, Edward Jones Financial, Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. To hear the show again, head to YouTube at KCCR Sports for shows at any time. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.